I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me.
Well, hello there. It is Stephanie Hunt here. It is day 72 of the Brent Daniels and Ryan Zolan 75-day challenge. So today I hit my goals. I have an appointment with a realtor tomorrow with a property that's been on the market for a long time, over 100 days. So I am wishing and hoping that that goes really, really well. And also that I'm consistent and diligent in that follow-up and just really going in and having those conversations of, I would like to know, what is your update on the property? Tell me more about what's happening with the property at this point in time. What are your thoughts right now? Yes, if you didn't figure it out, I am practicing with you right now. Yes, I am. All right, Brent Daniels, Ryan Zolan, 75-day challenge. Let's go. Let's go.
Welcome to Millionaire Before 30, where we are on a mission.
That is right. We are on a mission to give you guys the exact blueprint of how to become a millionaire before the age of 30 years old. I'm Ryan Zolan.
I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. That is Stephanie Hunt there on her 72 days that she has posted every single day. Yep. It is incredible. Go and check out Stephanie Hunt's YouTube channel and follow her on all the social media. And it's exciting. It's exciting seeing the whole journey that she's had over the last 72 days. Today is 73. And or 72. That was out today, day 72. And so we're almost done with the 75-day challenge. Now, one thing I do want to say, because Stephanie was talking about it, was talking to an agent that had a listing of an ugly house sitting on the market for 100 days. When you hear that it's been on for 100 days, what do you think?
40%.
Okay.
That's the first thing that crosses my mind.
40% what? What does that mean?
Of ARV. There's no way in hell that we're writing an offer on this thing anywhere remotely close to its list price.
Right.
So I love how she broke it down. She was saying, okay, let's call them. Let's ask what's going on. Let's ask about the situation of the seller. Mm-hmm. She's breaking it down by asking all the right questions to the agent. But all that does is show you the motivation and their situation, which leads to then price being justified because obviously the condition doesn't match the price.
You have to see how motivated they are.
Have to.
You have to hit them. I'm telling you, it's the same. I want you to use the same strategy that you would from a Zestimate. Matt, will you pull it up, the 60, 40, 15%? If it's in these price ranges, this is what you want to hit them with if it's on the market. 60%, 45, and 15%. All right? That is the numbers right there. 60% if it's above 250, 45% between 250 and 100, and if it's under 100, 15%. And that's for the properties that are sitting on the market for a long time. The whole world is exposed to these properties when they hit the market. It literally goes on every single website that people would look at just from a consumer standpoint, where they're going and looking at properties that they're interested in. Everybody has seen that property, and everybody, the entire planet. How many people are on the planet? 8 billion? Is it 8 billion?
Yeah.
8 billion people on the planet have said, no, I don't want to pay that price. Remember, it's not the agent. It's not the seller. It's not an appraisal. It's not the market. It is a ready, willing, and able buyer that determines the value of real estate. Right? And we're seeing the little shifts. We're seeing the shifts going back, some power going back to the buyers, which is very exciting. Albert.
Yes.
Pop in here, brother.
How are we doing today?
Talk to me. Talk to me about, you made a unbelievable analogy about the MLS. Let everybody know what you said.
All right. Here's how you got to think about the MLS, right? The MLS is like your Nordstrom department store, right? You walk in. Everything at the front's the nice, shiny retail stuff. You're greeted by a lovely man or woman in a suit, dressed really nice, showing you all the retail stuff. You need to talk to that salesperson, this Nordstrom salesperson, and tell them what you're looking for, because you want to head to the back to where that clearance aisle's at, where everything that's been sitting for a while that they need to just unload, and that's where you want to find our discounted properties.
I love it. I think that's a beautiful analogy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's perfect.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, that's truly what it is. When properties first hit the market, that's when everybody's like, "Oh, this is a new shiny thing."
Yep.
And then you look at it and you go, "Wait a second. That's way more than I would ever spend on this." And that's what the market is telling anybody that has a property that's sitting on the market. There's something that is stopping them from moving forward and putting in an offer on that property. And what most buyers do and what most agents tell their buyers to do is just wait. Let's see how long this sits on the market. Because the longer it sits on the market, the more likely it starts going to the clearance aisle.
Yep.
The more rust it gets on it, the more moss it grows, so to speak, right? So they're just trying to find. Pricing is just imaginary, right? People just go based on the comparables of what other people have sold in the area, but maybe there's something different about this property. Maybe there's something that's wrong with this property, and that's what's going on in the mind of a buyer. They go, wait a second, this looks like a nice house, and it's in good shape, but why isn't it selling?
For sure.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd even say like the past 18 months, what's happened is if it's been sitting longer than 5 days, I mean, I've even had conversations with agents that if it sat for more than a day and there wasn't an offer, they're like, what's going on here? Trying to debunk what just happened to this property. Is it price? Is it condition? Is there a bomb under it? And now I would tell you it's the same thing. If it's 15 plus days, 30 plus days on market, they're not getting that price that they have it listed at.
Listen, you go out to dinner, you go to a barbecue, you go out to something social, and 3, 4, 5 friends sold during that peak time, and they got like 15 offers on it, and then you don't get that, your pride is bruised.
Oh, yeah.
Right? As an owner of a property, you're like, oh my gosh, it's not even about the market. It's about, wait a second, my house is so incredible, right? And so people were able to just throw junk on the market and get multiple offers. That is no longer the case because interest rates have erased all of that. They have. Not only that, but when interest rates rise, okay, what happens is all of the private money, hard money lenders in town, the people that buy notes, they pause for a second. So what happens is people go out and they raise a bunch of funds from you and I, right? We make $1 million, we put it into the fund, they give us 8%. They just send us mailbox money all the time, right? And so they then lend that money out at 12% to people that are doing fix and flip and buying properties cash and are going to refinance or whatever else. What happens is once they get that loan at 12%, they have a piece of paper. They sell that piece of paper to people that buy notes. Okay, the people so that it frees up their cash flow to lend more money. Blah 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 blah. The cycle continues, right? What happens is if the note buyers pause, then the hard money lenders can't lend out more money because their money's tied up in the notes that they now have on their books. They can't sell these. And what the note buyers are waiting for is interest rates to go bananas again, get to that 18% for private money, which I've always been used to. I mean, it was always that you pay 1.5% a month for hard money. It was 18%. That's what you pay. And it's been 8 to 12% for 4 years now. And so what these note buyers are going, they're like, this is prime time for me, baby, because now I can buy these notes at 18%. This is fantastic. So they're just kind of waiting for everything to rise up so that they're able to get a higher return on those notes that they have out there. That's what's going on. That's truly what's going on, especially with the ugly houses and fixing and flipping. So you're going to see the people that know how to raise money. You're going to see the people that have really good product, have really good experience, absolutely crush on the fix and flips.
I agree
absolutely
with that.
Crush.
I agree with that.
Because the demand is still there. The supply of houses is still very low. Historically. So there's still a lot of people that want to buy the properties, but they're picky now.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they have more options.
Absolutely. And so I think, honestly, what it's going to end up doing, too, is it's going to get rid of the people that were just throwing lipstick on a pig for their flips. It's going to make it now, okay, well, there's 5 different houses that people are going to go tour when they have showings on Saturday. So if yours isn't the best option or if it isn't the one that checks all of their criteria, it's just not going to sell. So I think it's going to be a good little reset for the market. I was just talking to Albert about that yesterday. While we've got flips that were like, okay, we need to sell these things, the market flipped on us. I'm still trying to be abundant and saying that this market shift is actually for the best. It's going to help make things smoother. It's going to get people more professional. It's going to clean up a lot of the bad wholesaling, bad agents, bad sellers with unrealistic expectations. It's going to make it a nice, smooth process for everybody. So
I love the new gear.
Thank you.
Look
Thank
at
you.
this MLS King. What is that? That's a short sleeve hoodie.
Yeah, so I'm bringing it back.
That's a thing.
I got a boxing tournament later.
Okay, good. That's good. That's good.
No,
well, listen, we
okay.
wanted to hit you guys here as we warm up the show. The first 20, 30 minutes is really warming up, making sure that you guys get in here, make sure that you're putting in whatever questions that you have for us that we can answer, whatever celebrations that you have, any success that you've had. Maybe you've made some calls right before we hopped on. What was the guy's name that's going to do 50, or the person's name that's going to do 50 calls today? Jesse? No. The that posted early.
There was a comment.
Yeah. They're going to make calls. That's Young Welsh. There you go. Is going to be making calls. That is cause for celebration. We want to ring the victory bell and celebrate you, and make sure that you're squatting up in the comment section. Don't be shy. You got to treat this as like as a meetup, and it's a beautiful thing because you don't have to have that awkward I'm meeting you face to face, eye to eye, and we have to like stand there and just hope somebody comes up to us type of thing. You could literally just post where you do business, where you live, that type of thing, and start breaking down the barriers and start building some relationships with people in the comment section. So make sure that you're doing that as well. And if you're getting value, hit that like button. It helps bring more people to the audience so that you can squat up and JV and get some expert help with people that
Make
are
that
in
money.
Yeah, people that are in the comment section. So we're going to talk about 5 things. 5 things to really just start opening up this. 5 decisions to make in your 20s, because this is Millionaire Before 30. This works for everybody, but this specifically is kind of designed for people that are just getting out of high school to that interesting time. Yep. 20 to 30 is an interesting time because you get out of high school, and then all of a sudden you either have to go get more skills so that you can provide value to the community, so that you can start providing for yourself, for a future family. And it's an interesting, challenging, exciting time of life. And you're right in the thick of things, so I'll let you start it off with the first one. We're going to go through 5.
Yep. So we were talking about this a little bit yesterday. Like, we usually just try to figure out what the topic was, and this was something that just kind of came to me because I'm like, I don't think we've talked about like early 20s. I think that when you hit it right in the head, when you first get out, I can relate to this because it was just a short amount of time, but like, I want you guys to know, like, when you're 18, it's almost so intimidating getting into an industry that you already don't know, but then also being exposed to the world the way that I was. It was like, you see how much money's in circulation. You start realizing people that are twice your age all of a sudden don't have all the answers you thought they had. You realize they just have more experience in this game and in this world, in the community. So
and more connections.
More connections too, yep. And so the first one we talked about here is investing in yourself. I think that throughout your 20s, this is a really important time to make mistakes. Understanding that while a lot of people, the one thing I always hate is hearing, oh, I'm a perfectionist. Stop that. Stop that right now. Like, there's no such thing as finding the perfect solution for every situation.
That is the beard that covers the insecurity of wanting to try something and failing.
For sure.
That's all it is.
For sure.
I'm a perfectionist. It's a beard. Stop it.
Shave the beard. So invest in yourself. I want to see you guys investing into trying all different hobbies, different routines, different changes in your day-to-day, but then also taking the money that maybe you'd invest into a college or a trade school and invest into something personal development. Invest that into a course. Invest that into a mentorship. Invest that into something that is going to give you a potential ROI. Don't take the money that you just built up at your part-time job and go on vacation. Don't all of a sudden just go and blow that hard-earned money. You need to save as much as you can in your 20s, but if you're going to spend it, investing into yourself is the key way to do it.
And I think a part of that is being very curious.
For sure.
You know what I mean? When you're investing in yourself, it's really a curiosity, right? You don't know something and you want to change something, and change is hard, but you know that you have to do it. So you have to be very curious on, how do I find out more about this? How do I pull on this thread and go all the way down the rabbit hole to find out what the answer is to building wealth, to being a real estate entrepreneur, to being a successful business person, right? And that's really what it is. And you invest in yourself. And the beautiful thing in 2022 here is, holy cow, anything you want is there. I mean, literally anything you want is one connection away. And the famous Tim Ferriss saying is, everything you want is already in somebody else's brain. Questions are the pickaxe to get at that. To get at the gold. So I think that that's phenomenal. Number 2 is focus on one thing. Now, this is really, really, really difficult. This was very difficult for me. I wanted to do it all. I wanted to have a real estate brokerage. I wanted to flip properties. I wanted to hold rental properties. I wanted to flip cars. Early on, I wanted to go into the storage units and buy those storage units and flip all of that stuff. Yeah. I wanted to, like, everything was all over the place. But the fact is, if you really focus in on one thing and master it, that's when you actually can provide value to the community, because you have the skills to be able to do that. And it's very difficult because we're in that, like, unknown phase. We don't know if we're on the right path. We don't know if this is the way that you want to go. All of a sudden, somebody's doing something over here, and you're like, oh my gosh, this person's, so rich over here, and they're doing whatever, drop shipping, or they're doing some sort of weird, whatever. They're in crypto now, and they're in stocks now, and they're in real estate now, and they're doing this. And there's always going to be new things. You have to let your gut instinct fall, put you down the path. And if it's real estate, stay focused on ugly houses, for real. Stay focused on ugly houses and getting big checks. It's the absolute truth. If you go and you have quality conversations with property owners that own ugly houses, you are going to make a fortune. It just depends on if you're going to be consistent and if you can stay focused on that. Because you start getting ideas once you start getting that money in.
Of course.
Right?
Yes, it's very easy. Shiny object syndrome.
That's when you start paying the stupid tax.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Number 3, this one is huge. It's protecting your health. So understanding that there's a lot of people that even say, like, if they could go back and change, like, they'd want to change their health because that's going to lead for you to being able to be more productive, being more efficient. You have better success, and just all around you feel better when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. So this kind of goes aligned with number 1, back investing in yourself. Invest in your health. Make sure you're eating right, you're taking care of your body, you're active, you're doing all the right things, you're getting enough sleep. I think that's one of the biggest things that, like, is in the health category that not enough people talk about is sleep. Like, I hate when I hear people say, I sleep 3-4 hours and I'm good. I'm like,
that was me.
I'm like, no way.
That was me.
No way.
That was me. I loved it. I was so prideful of it. I was like, I could get anything done. I could stay up till 2, get up at 6, crush, right? Just absolutely crush. But the fact was, I was probably at 67%.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't.
Dude, it takes a full 8.5 hours to look like this.
Yeah,
like,
well, I believe it. I believe it. There you go. But sleep is important, but also good, healthy sleep.
Yes.
Don't go to bed drunk every night.
Yes.
Jeez.
Don't go to bed stoned every night.
Right.
Novel idea, right? Like, actually get some rest so that your brain can take all this stuff in. The fact is, and you can look this up, and Joe Rogan talks about this all the time on his podcast, but your brain doesn't fully develop until you're, like, between 24 and 27 years old.
Yep.
So, like, and you're going to throw a bunch of junk in there? I get it. It's fun. I did it for sure. But then I got crushed in my early 30s because of it. You know what I mean? So just really protect your health. Number 4 is you got to get your personal board of directors, right? Your mentor, your protector, your connector, your sponsor, and your friend. Right? You need somebody that has been there. You need somebody that is going to protect you, like an attorney and an accountant. You need somebody that's going to open the doors, a connector that's going to give you at least a shot to do something. You're going to need a sponsor that's going to get you a seat at the table with people that are very wealthy. And you need a friend that's going to call you out on your bullshit when your ego gets too big because you're making too much money.
Love
the truth.
I love it.
And that last one is very interesting. That friend of somebody that's really going to call you out. I see a lot of young people, male and female, that make a ton of money and have no friends. Like, literally no best friend.
Wow.
Like, they just don't have anybody that they are really, really, really because they don't want somebody to call them out on all the silly things that they're doing.
For sure. For sure. You're
and
spot
it's
on.
an insecurity.
You're spot on. That was one thing that I'm very, very happy and proud of that Albert and I think have very well in our friendship and relationship is, like, I've literally told him from day one, call me out on anything. There's no conversation that you and I can't have together because egos get left at the door. So there's been a handful of times, even last year, where we sat down. He's like, hey, man, you did this, this, and this, and that wasn't cool. And vice versa with me and him. So, like, it's 100% a real thing. And also, too, it makes you stronger because a lot of times I'm not going to defend the people that are in those situations, but they've got blinders on. So, like, they don't have the friends to call them out, but also in their world, they don't know that they're even doing anything wrong. They need that friend that's in their world to tell them, like, hey, I know you, and this is not you. So that's one of the most important out of the personal board of directors, but that is my favorite thing that you always talk about. I think that is so, so, so crucial.
Well, because I think a friend doesn't let you get too crazy with your ego.
Sure.
And most of the time, ego comes from insecurity. Most of the time, insecurity comes with some interesting relationship with your father, and if you're trying to always appease your father and always insecure and always trying to push and prove and show off, then you're just you're insulating yourself. You're keeping yourself on an island, and you need to understand this is your life. You're not a kid anymore, right? This is your 20s. You don't have to keep all this baggage, right? You're able to make the decision that you're going to go out there and you're going to do something amazing and you're going to give back to society. Let it be the fuel. Don't let it be the chain, the ball and chain that's holding you back.
Love it.
You know what I mean? That's usually where ego comes from.
I love it.
Number 5.
Debt and savings. So, I mean, we talk about this. This is literally in the 5-step process to financial freedom. This is in our blueprint. The debt side of things is that you should not be going into debt. Stop buying stupid shit. And trust me,
consumer debt.
Yes, I am talking about this specifically being consumer debt. Do not go and buy the car. Don't go buy the watch. Don't go buy the clothes. What you need to do is you need to save as much money as possible. I'm going to go on my Dave Ramsey rant here, but like you need to literally save as much possible and like literally build that bank account. You never know when the market's going to flip. You never know when all of a sudden the economy is going to flip on you. And I saw during the pandemic, even when they were giving out the stimulus checks, the people that I knew that were even friends of mine, young age guys that were like living off of a $1,200 check being given to them by the government as inflation was going. They didn't have any of their hard-earned cash and savings that they could have helped be able to provide for them throughout that hard time. So debt and savings, this is so crucial. Stop being somebody else's ROI. Save your money.
Yeah, one of the silliest, and I love the word silly. I just think it's a silly word. I think one of the silliest comments that people say is, well, my assets pay for these liabilities.
I was just about to say.
Right?
Yeah.
Hit me. What do you think?
Well, you said that the other day, and it got me thinking. That's not true wealth building. Like, yes, my assets pay for my living, but like, okay, well, what else are you saving then? If you're making $1,000 cash flow from a rental, right? Fantastic, right? $1,000, but then you get a car payment that's $950. What are you doing? You're only saving $50 a month. So what are you building wealth? What happens when that asset, that rental becomes vacant? Then what? Now you have $1,000 car payment that you gotta fork out every month.
Yep.
Be smart with your money. It's yes, you're making cash flow, but still, you gotta have to weather the rainy days because you're gonna have rainy days. You need that umbrella.
That's it. I mean, Gary Vee talks about it, right? Gary Vee talks about like keep your expenses as low as possible. Live with your family forever. I mean, as long as you can while you're building your business. Live with roommates. Live with whoever. Don't flex at 22 because you made $100,000. You know what I mean? And I did this. I totally did this. I went out and I got the Audi A4, and then I got the Mercedes and the Range. I got the big houses. I bought like 4 dogs. It was bananas. I had an English bulldog that was like $10,000. I had other dogs. I had it was wild, right? I had a ex-wife, obviously, but a relationship at the time where she liked the fancy things and she liked to prove and she loved being down by the court for Suns games and all this other shit and flaunting all this. And we're not together. You know what I mean? It meant nothing. Like if you look back on it, it was just fake. It was fugazi. It was mist. You know what I mean? It was nothing. So it's like, if you really want, if your goal truly is financial freedom to actually control your time, which I think is the most important thing, and you really realize that as you get older and you get like at 38 or 39 or whenever it is, that I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? Like it really hit me. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like this is crazy.
Not sustainable.
And then you realize what's really, really, really important. And in your 20s, you don't really feel that. And I get that. You feel invincible and bulletproof, and you have enough time and enough runway to cover your mistakes, and you always want to be the person that comes out of high school or college and is balling and successful and doing all the great things, because you get to rub it in whoever is you're hallucinating in your mind cares. Nobody cares, by the way. Nobody really cares. I mean, maybe people say some stuff, but they're not going to say it to your face. Be like, oh, Ryan, you're so successful. You're so great. I mean, let's date. You know what I mean? I never gave you a chance in high school, but now you're rich. Oh, you know what I mean? It just doesn't. That's not real life. That's movies. Stop thinking that it's a movie. That's not real. Build wealth and really understand that having the time to do the things that you want and protecting your energy and only doing things that give you energy and not drain you of energy is really, really, really dope. Really dope. So watch the debt and put something in savings. All right? There you go. Awesome.
Love it.
Let's open this thing up. One thing I will say, I watched this incredible TikTok yesterday, which I thought was very interesting, and I didn't know this. But the most common phrase that is said in the Bible, said 365 times, I don't know if you guys know this, is do not be afraid. Awesome, right? Do not be afraid. I think that is so powerful. I mean, I don't care what religious, where you're at on that, but that's powerful. Do not be afraid. I mean, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? If you weren't afraid of failing, what would you do? If you knew that you were going to win, what would you do? If you weren't afraid to go and talk to somebody for the first time, how would that impact you? If you weren't afraid to get on the phone for the first time and try to solve the problem of a distressed property owner in your community, what would that mean for you? Because I think that fear and being afraid holds us back from a lot of things.
Without a doubt.
What do you think?
100%. I think that I didn't realize it was in the Bible that much, but I think that that's a very
every day of the year.
Like literally, you need to just understand that. I mean, what's that saying too? It's like everything good happens on the other side of fear. Like what people don't realize is that usually it's a limiting belief. It's like an excuse almost of like I have validation or justification as to why I can't do this. And it's because this could happen. Most of my success has actually come through my failures. Yeah. It's through me taking immense action, struggling, but then relying on my personal board of directors to be able to say, hey, this happened. What do I do? Like the amount of times I've literally called Steve Schrang and been like, yo, this just happened. What do I do? And he's like, do this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks, bye. Yep. Took 2 minutes. Yep. But because I took the action and failed and got to that point, I had the question. And like you said, the question is what unlocks the answers because that's what other people have gone through.
That's it.
So I love it.
Awesome. Let's crack this thing open. Thank you, guys. We're 26 minutes, 31 seconds in. We want to say a happy birthday to everybody that's having a birthday today. Alejandra has 17 people on her Instagram that it's their birthday, including her older sister. Happy birthday. There we go. Let's crack this thing open.
Oh my God.
What do we got? Oh, Juan Alejandro Jarabre Gerardo.
Yep.
Gerardo, yeah.
Crushed
there we
it.
go. Awesome. Congratulations. Got my first deal by JVing. Made $15,000. Here we go. Boom. You want to make a bunch of money? Figure out how to JV with people.
Literally.
Figure out how to provide value to somebody else that can't get a deal sold, or find that deal and bring it to somebody that has an incredible amount of buyers so that you can get that deal sold. Congratulations, Juan Alejandro.
Boom.
Kashawn, oh, come on.
Let's go.
We are going
go.
fast with the, okay. Got my first property under contract in High Point, North Carolina. Kashawn, here's the deal. Get it sold. Get it sold. Ring that bell.
Let's go.
There we go. Congratulations. That is absolutely incredible. Come on.
Let's go.
Come on. Jesse, got my first deal. Got it for $275, ARV $454. This is a TTP family member right here.
Go.
Jesse's crushing. Jesse,
go.
Congratulations. He texted me this morning. He talked to Alejandro this morning. And
Let's go.
Boom. On here today. We celebrate you. Congratulations, Jesse. Here we go. I think that thing's going to break. I think it's going to break at some point. No, it's the actual. John Johnson didn't close on the 8-plex, but still made $4,500 from Ernest. All right, money in the bank. Go ahead, give it to John Johnson. Listen, I'm telling you, I remember really when I was really broke, like totally broke, and I helped Ryan Thornton, who is my acquisition manager. And he's going to be on the show. I think he's the best acquisition manager in the country. He is absolutely phenomenal. Everybody join us next Wednesday. It is going to be bananas, but he's unbelievable. And I helped him buy a house, and I got the split. I got the commission. It was like $2,100, and it was like I was a fish out of water and somebody just plopped me back into my fishbowl. It just felt amazing. I was just like, holy cow. So, I mean, even though it's $4,500, it's $4,500, John. And I mean, it's 45. That's incredible. People
Literally.
will work, 40 hours a week the whole month and make that. You know
For
what
sure.
I mean?
For sure.
And you made it because somebody couldn't
Perform on the deal.
Couldn't perform.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though, John. You better sell the deal. I mean, don't just sit back on your $4,500 and just count it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just get that deal sold.
For sure.
Yep.
Brent's story is immaculate. Banana, 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 fire.
Thank you. Yes. Redbeard Agency. So I just got Ryan's course, and I'm highly impressed. All right. What course is this? What is he talking about?
We got the Agent Investors course.
What is it about?
So we are teaching agents.
Do a shameless plug.
You got it. So we got agents that we're teaching how to triple their income utilizing these strategies. We're teaching investors how to work with agents, bridging the gap, making people a lot of money. We've got students that are crushing deals throughout the entire country. It's incredible. Use code TTP. You guys get $100 off.
Agent referrals.
Yes.
MLS deals.
Yep. And then I would say, so it's agent referrals, MLS deals, building win-win relationships, setting expectations, teaching agents how to do this process. And also it's free, no marketing money. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. Drew. Hey, Brent, when pre-qualifying, how many of the 4 pillars do I need before setting an appointment? I get lots of retail leads. That's fantastic, Drew. Number 1 is you really want to see if it's a lead. So you want to see if they've made the decision. So timeline is, I think, the most important, Drew. Timeline is absolutely critical because timeline is going to tell you, okay, they've made the decision. They're going to sign a deed over to somebody else, right? So make sure that you get the timeline, or at least it's there if they get the right amount, right? So that's an actual lead. So that's very important because I think we spend a lot of time trying to convince people it's the right time to sell.
Yep.
When we shouldn't waste our efforts and energies on that. We should focus on, the people that are already at that place. We're deal finders, not deal creators. So timeline is number 1. Now, I will say this. If it's a really, really, really beat up property, I want you to go on that appointment right away.
Yep.
Seriously. Because they only have 2 options. 1, sell to a cash buyer, and 2, they got to fix it up. And most of the people don't have the financial capabilities to fix it up. So that's really, really, really important. So if it's condition and it's totally beat up, then get on that appointment. All right?
Yep.
Yeah. And we're going to be I'm going to be talking a lot more about novations. I'm going through the training with Eric Brewer. Brewer has a Brewer method training that I'm going through right now to kind of understand. I think it's going to be a really powerful tool in the toolbox. I don't want to get people too distracted. I still want you going after ugly houses, big checks, but I think that that we're going to crack the code on doing some novations. And novations are really the strategy to use. It's essentially wholetailing without having to buy the property, which is really interesting.
For sure.
Yep.
From Greg, how to get the sellers down when they want too much money? So this is going back to a lot of the setting expectations and educating them. Now, be mindful that when you're direct to seller, the downfall to when you go and you give them the price of where you're at is that they're typically going to go and shop it around. So this is where Steve likes to train, like in his sales training, he taught this to me, but it's upfront expectations.
Yep.
Making sure that everybody that's going to be able to perform and tell you if they're going to take the deal or not is at the appointment. It's also going to be understanding what their timeline is. Then you go to the appointment, figure out the condition. But then when you get to the point of price, it's a yes or no. If they say no, okay, then you're just going to assume that it's a no. And if they say, oh, let me talk to so-and-so, let me think it over, it is what it is. How you get them down is by going in and being honest with them. A lot of times what differentiates us between the average investor with agents is that we go in and we tell them what our numbers are. So where we get into like a little bit of like a standstill is where we tell the agents, it's going to cost us $70,000 in renovations. And they're like, I don't know about that. It's going to be more like $40,000. Then we'll go and we'll get a quote from our contractor and show them what it's going to take in renovations. So I'd make sure that you're just setting expectations and educating them, and that will lead to the price being what it is. You can't change the deal. And this is like Brent just said, we are deal finders, not creators. The numbers are what they are. The best line you might be able to use right now is, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, my offer's X right now. However, every day that's going on, as interest rates are rising and the market's turning, my offer is going to get lower. So if my offer is at where it's at today, if you come back to me in 10, 14, 30 days, my offer is going to be lower, and I just want to make sure you understand that now. So
yeah, Greg, I think it depends on the condition. You know, if it's a really, really rough property, or it's dated, or it needs significant renovation or rehab or just reconstruction, and they want too much, I think that they're just shooting for it, and I think that they'll get realistic once you can put some actual numbers to it. If it's a beautiful house and they want too much, they should sell retail.
For sure.
listen, we either get wholesale price or wholesale terms. Remember, whenever you're negotiating, Greg, it comes down to three things. It's price, terms, and you, right? They have to trust that you're going to get the job done and that you have their best interest in mind. And then the other two is price and terms. So they might want, $1 million, but maybe you can pay them $1,000 a month for the next 100 years. I mean, that sounds ridiculous and silly, but there are deals where you can just you extend out the amount of time that you have to pay that price. You can give people their price, but they got to give you the terms. And if they won't give you the terms, they won't give you the price, then tell them to put it on the market. Refer them a great agent. Okay? Awesome. Isaiah, Brent, would it be wise to attempt to wholesale properties that are north of $2 million? An agent I spoke with has a pocket listing with an ARV of 3.5. It seems like it'd be tougher to sell. The issue that I have here, I love these deals, Isaiah, I really do. The issue is once you get up into that price, it's all subjective. Right? Usually when you do that, it's a custom house.
Yep.
And it might have a lot of square footage, but it's dated, and they're like, but it's worth 3.5, but we'll sell it for 2. Yeah, but I got to put $1 million into it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or it's a beautiful house, but it's got a funky layout. You know what I mean? It's just a weird deal. So when you get into luxury, you really want to have a luxury agent that knows the market really, 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 really well, and you need to lean on them. Those are experts. They know every single house that's in that pocket, and they can really help you understand if that's a really smoking deal or not. And typically they have buyers for those deals that are in the wings. So that's what you want to do. You want to source those and bring them to a luxury agent that really works in that market. Are you going to get burned sometimes? Sure. But that just means that you just have filtered out all the people that you don't want to work with and find the ones that you do that know those areas. There's not just one area expert.
Right.
There's dozens, right? So just find the one that's really going to treat you right and bring you good deals and communicate effectively with you. But usually when you get into the luxury, it gets a little bit trickier because
champagne
it's not
taste, man, on a champagne budget.
Well,
so.
it's also it's not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like most subdivisions are developed with the same builder that built 100, 200, 300, 500,000 homes, and you have a bunch of comparables. When you go into custom lots and custom homes, one builder's significantly better than another builder.
For sure.
One builder wants to build a modern house, the other one wants to build a farmhouse.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
One wants to build some like 3-story monstrosity, and somebody wants to just build like a country house.
Yep,
You know what I mean? So
it's all subjective.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
I've been right so far, by the way, Kenny. The highest we've got active on here is 143. Boom.
All
Told
right.
you guys.
All right.
Tell your friends. Help these guys out.
From Joe. What about these builders on new builds backing out on deals days before closing, running off with people's money? So I haven't heard of that with the builders on new builds backing out on deals day before closing, because if there's a contract in place, that sounds like a lawsuit to me.
Sounds like a big lawsuit.
A very big lawsuit.
Yep.
But
wouldn't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you'd step in there. And if it's a builder backing out on new builds, it's probably a small builder. I don't see this as being a big builder because they've got deep pockets.
Yeah.
I would say that it's probably like a really, really, really small boutique company that's doing it. And
they're not going to last.
It's going to be tied up in a lawsuit for a long time. Yep. So that's unfortunate if that's happening in some markets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's bad.
Yep.
That's bad.
Jason, Mr. Bowtie. I have a VA and she's working on a dialer, but the leads are not coming in. What can I do to get that going better?
Yeah, so I have a few questions. I mean, are you listening to the calls? Are you giving them the right data?
Yep.
Are you skip tracing using batch, or what are you using? What's your dialer? What else we got? I mean, that's the majority of them. But then aside from that, each VA should be bringing in a minimum, absolute minimum, 1 to 2 leads a day. And I would tell you that I would make sure that there's some things in the systems and processes that are cleared up, and then those questions are answered. But that's all direct to seller.
Lists, data, skills.
Yep.
List, data, skills. And you made a great point. Jason, you really got to listen to the recordings of the call. If you can't record, if you're a two-party state where you can't record your calls, then you need to be on like like a 3-way call with them and just put yourself on mute and listen to them live and do that for an hour each week or whatever.
Yep.
And really see what there's. Do they have the skills that's required to meet to satisfy what you're looking for, right? So, yeah, it's either. And are you skip tracing through batch skip? If not, you're making a huge mistake. For real. So make sure that you're getting it from batch skip. Number 2 is how is the connection rate? Are they connecting? Is there a delay? Is there something going on? Are you switching up your caller ID every hour? Listen to me, Jason. Every hour you need to switch up your caller ID or you're going to come up as spam likely. Nobody's going to answer.
Yep.
So that means you're not going to get the contact rate. So you're taking your list. They're clean. They're good. Are they ugly houses? Are they distressed lists? Or do you have the numbers from batch skip? Are they in a dialer? Are they connecting? And are they having enough conversations to get enough swings at the plate? That's really, really, really important.
Boom.
And then the skills. If they don't have the skill, if you're paying $4, $5, $6 an hour, you're never going to do a deal. I'm just telling you. It's just not going to. Maybe as the market softens, maybe, but it's just like you have to have like 15, 20 callers at $4 an hour. It's bananas. It's silly. Yep. Get somebody that's quality. Or, Jason, I would ask, how many hours are you making calls?
Yep.
Because you want to know, you want to solve that problem real quick. You get on the phone and see how those conversations go with the list that you pulled, and if you're having enough conversations.
I love it.
I would hop on for at least an hour today and see how it is.
That's it.
146. Awesome.
From Isaac, how can I find my personal board of directors? What did you do to find those quality people? Plus, what is a good way to make a budget?
I love this.
This is a fantastic question, Isaac. So, personal board of directors. I think this is challenging. So, this is not just like in your personal life, but this is in business. This is anything in the world. Finding the right quality people is going to be a challenge. They're not all just right there ready and willing and being like, hey, I want to be your friend, or I want to be your mentor, your sponsor. Remember, it all goes back to value too. So, it has to be a two-way street. You can't just be expecting them to provide value to you and you not be giving it back to them. So lead with that intention and make sure that you're coming from the right place in abundance and mindset, and then just take action with going and applying. Hey, here I am. Nice to meet you. This is what I do. What do you do? It's going to take time. I mean, that doesn't happen overnight. I'm still working on my personal board of directors. I've made notes to go through this and like label each person as to what they are in that category, and I still haven't done it myself. But I would just tell you, like, that is so key. Brent, do you have any other advice on where to?
I want to hear what Albert says.
I'm thinking about back here because I have like my Nerf gun. I have a relationship that I have on my personal board of directors. It took me 8 years to put this person there. So it was a long burn for me to develop the skills that I needed to have to be ready to take his advice. I have one friend that has been with me for years. You're like, before you, Ryan, don't worry. But we had a shouting match in Mexico, and he called me out so hard, and that's when I knew, like, this is the person I can never let go. Mm-hmm. This is the person that will always call me out in the most authentic and meaningful way. Yep. So it's almost like I didn't go out of my way to find my personal board of directors, but I put value into myself, so I was ready to receive advice, and the people that were giving me advice finally showed themselves to me.
Love it. I have two strategies, and it works 100% of the time. Be wildly proactive and be loud. That's it. For real. Be wildly proactive and be loud. Like, not like go out there and just, be like a ego crazy person.
For sure.
But document what you're doing. Document what fears you have. Document the process that you're going through. Document these things. Like, be brave enough to put things out there of what you're doing, right? And how you're building this.
Yeah,
Stephanie.
So that's a perfect example. We were talking about that before the show. Like, I want you guys to understand, if you go back and shout out to Stephanie here, go and watch what she did from the very first video to, I mean, there was even videos of her crying on the floor, to this last video we just put on the show today. You can see the confidence. You can see the energy. You can see the positivity. You can see her thriving right now on day 72. Mm-hmm. That's 72 days to change your entire life and flip the trajectory of where you were to where you're on track to be.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's putting yourself out there, being loud. Not even tell you I'd agree to that, because as I got more loud, more opportunities and more relationships got presented to me.
That's it. Get loud without the ego. That's it. Ego just shows your insecurity.
Yep.
So just get loud. Just document what you're doing and be real.
Yep.
And let people know. And I'm telling you, people will come into your life. People will be like, oh my gosh, I saw you were doing this and that, and all of a sudden, Brent from Lishan. Brent, Ryan, I need help with quality contracts, purchase agreement, assignment, proof of funds, and earnest money. What can I do? TTP Insider, Lishan, for the purchase agreement and assignment. You can get a proof of funds. I would call 3 local hard money lenders and get a letter of credit for your proof of funds. They'll send that over to you. They're ready. They lend based on the asset. They're not going to run your credit. They're not going to see what's in your bank account or anything like that. They'll get you that. And then earnest money, it just depends on how much the seller wants. In some states, you don't have to have earnest money, so I would Google it, LaShawn, and see if you need earnest money to have a valid contract.
Yep.
It's called consideration in legal terms. And so just see if you need consideration. If not, then you could put nothing, or you could put $1. You could put $10. It depends on what the seller wants.
I've done that.
If the seller wants $10,000, but it's a smoking hot deal, which usually if they want $10,000, it's not a smoking hot deal. Let's be honest. But if it is,
you find that $10,000.
Find the $10,000.
You find it.
Or what you do is you go, okay, great. I'm going to put in I just did this with one of my students, John, and I said, well, put in the earnest money section that it'll be deposited after the inspection period. Put it in after the inspection period. That way you have enough time to sell it to somebody, and their earnest money goes in and it covers your earnest money.
Yep.
So there you go.
There you go. 158.
158 live people. Man, we love you guys. This is awesome.
Let's go.
If you're getting value, please hit that like button. Really helps out the channel.
159.
Okay.
From Jason, just got a contract in Indianapolis for $45,000, ARV 160.
You just got it like in the last 5 minutes. You were just on here, bro. This
Bow
is
tie.
great.
Let's
Come
go.
on.
Let's go.
This guy's multitasking. You know what I'm saying? He's got us on the computer and he's like this. Yeah. Oh, you will accept 45? Okay, great. Thank you. 45.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Let's break that bell today.
Congratulations, Jason.
161.
There we go.
Ooh, there we go. All right. From Lishan, Ryan, can you explain your 93% formula? Can it be used in any market? Yes, 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 absolutely. Let's draw it out for you guys. Okay. Yep. So we have the after repair value times 0.93. Now out of this is 7%. So we have 5% in commission. And then we estimate a little bit higher, but we go 2% in closing costs. Okay, and then from there, we minus by rehab, minus desired profit, and this is typically 10 to right now 15% of the ARV. Bless you. Minus wholesale fee. Just kidding. Yeah, so we have ARV times by 93% minus the repairer's estimate minus desired profit. There's a little bit of reflection. You guys can see it. Minus the wholesale fee is the MAO. What you could even do to start this is take times 0.93 from your ARV, or even take it off the 15% total with that. So just go like 0.81, 0.82 minus repairs minus wholesale fee is your MAO. So That is the 93% formula. Yes, it is universal. It can be done in any market because you can't change the fact of what desired profit is outside of it just being a personal preference of your end buyer. But then repairs are what they are. Your wholesale fee is what it is. So just remember that desired profit, you just ask your end buyer, what are you looking for? Typically, it's been around 10% of the ARV, but 15% is what it's at right now currently, which is obviously just because the market's transitioning. So buyers are wanting to buy a little bit steeper so they have a little bit more protection.
Yeah. This is exactly what Jason, I knew it. I knew you were. Look at you. Beast mode. Got 2 monitors going on calls and listening to a great podcast. Boom. There you go. Same thing. We go through the same thing. I just do it at 0.8.
Yeah, 0.8.
0.8. It used to be 0.84. Now we're going 0.8, and it's making a big difference. I'm telling you, the sellers are not quite there yet, but we're still getting deals, and they're tighter deals. The last couple of weeks have been tighter deals, but we've got a few that we're locking up. I was just getting texts that are going to be bananas. There you go. It's still working out, but yeah, you can also. What I did is I put this
at the top.
Before. I just take it off the top. I just take this and put it here.
Yeah.
And put that at 0.8 or 80%.
For sure.
Minus repairs, minus the rehab, minus wholesale fee. Same thing.
There we go.
There you go. Oh, 167 at the peak. Oh, that's great. 167 live. You guys live. Thank you. This is incredible. Oliver, how do I do the appointments virtually when I can't make it to the seller?
Yeah, so I think it's really crucial to have boots on the ground.
Yes.
So the boots on the ground, the way that I'm going to tell you to do this is so simple. It is literally exactly what we teach with agent investors. Go and find an agent. An agent is somebody that you could trust. It's somebody that you can do multiple deals with in the future. And also, too, if you have them going out on your appointments, maybe throw them a $25, $50 gift card, or even make a relationship with them where you're giving them referrals and they're taking care of you, writing a bunch of offers. So,
yeah, agents, Oliver. Get somebody that you trust in that market, a real estate agent, that you send them the retail leads. And maybe they do an extra 5 deals a year.
Yep.
But that's an extra probably 60 grand for them, maybe less, depending on your market. An extra 50 grand for them to just go out. They look professional. They're clean. They've got a reliable transportation, right?
Yep.
And they can help you out. So get somebody that you have a conversation with that says, listen, all day long I'm calling property owners, and most of the time they want retail. When that happens, I'm going to be able to refer them over to you, but I need some help going on appointments because I can't get to them because I'm in a different state.
Yep.
And people will do that.
Absolutely.
People will do that as long as you really over communicate,
Correct.
and bring that real. You want to have a lot of. You want that kindness. You want that certainty, right? You want these things when you're going in there. You want to be likable, and you want to be certain that you can do these deals.
Good.
All right.
Good question. From Relentless Vic. After you pre-qualify the seller and they agree to the purchase and sale contract, what's a good way to explain the next steps in the process? Yeah, so what you want to do is when you're getting that contract signed, it depends if you're in person or virtual, but obviously you just want to make sure you're setting the expectation as to what's going to happen next. Once we sign this contract, we're going to deposit earnest money. Once we deposit earnest money, that is going to open up escrow. If your earnest money is after your inspection period, we're going to open up escrow. Then we're going to go in, we're going to do a couple inspections. We might have a few appointments out at the house to go in and inspect the property. But then from there, we're going to sign off on a couple documents. We'll go back to you, explain what happens next in the process from there. Are you guys going to, obviously you don't want to tell them, we might come in and ask for a price reduction. You're just going to tell them you have appointments coming up, inspection period. You might have a contractor go out there, whatever the case is during your IP. Then from there, we're just clear to close. Title's going to be in their lane. They're going to tell me what I need, what you need, and if there's any other documents that are required for us to get this thing closed.
We got the dog farting like crazy over there, whining for food. It's wild. I don't know what's going on in here today. Yeah, listen. What we do is there's a Turbo Scan app that I really like. It's very, very easy to use. And once they sign the contract, we're there at the appointment. We take a picture with Turbo Scan, and we tell them we're going to immediately send it over to the title company to start their process. This lets them know that we know what we're doing, and it's smooth, and it's already going to the next step. And they get to keep the contract. Here's a contract so that they know what they signed, and you don't have to bring copies and the whole thing, right? You've got a digital version of it. It's great. So we open up escrow right away. So that lets them know this is happening. And then the next thing, you got to set the expectation for the inspection.
Yep.
In 2 days, it's going to be a circus here. I'm going to bring everybody through. I need like 2 hours to bring everybody through. And once that's done, we'll be wrapped up and we'll be good to go.
Yep.
But I need to have at least a 2-hour window on Thursday, whatever it is. If you sign it up on Tuesday and Thursday, to be able to do that. And so they know that it's going to be crazy.
Yep.
Make sure that you go when you are showing your buyers if they need to see the property, and you bring them donuts, you bring them cinnamon rolls, you bring them coffee, you bring them a burrito, you bring them whatever they like, right?
Yep.
And just sit and talk to the owner and let everybody do their thing, and things go really smooth.
That's it.
Yep.
From Jamal. Will driving for dollars always be effective, or is it outdated?
Yeah, I don't know how it'd ever be outdated.
Ugly houses don't
Listen,
go away.
here's the thing. And I've been seeing a lot of these things, and it's wonderful. But, guys, don't be easy. Don't be easy. Don't look at these ads that say you don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to go after ugly houses. You don't have to do all these things. We've got a secret method. We've got a secret method for you to go out and find deals that nobody else knows about. It's the blue ocean strategy. Everybody's saying this in all these ads now that I see. It's a blue ocean strategy. Everything else is this and that and everything, right? It's all bullshit. Then it comes down to you calling people that have ugly houses.
Yep.
It's a hook. Guys, do not get this confused, all right? Do not get this confused. I had somebody come up at an open house. She's a trainer. She's like, I'm a coach for some company, and they're like, we get deals off of social media. And I was like, great, how? She goes, well, I signed an NDA. I can't say anything. I'm like, oh, so you go on Facebook Marketplace and make offers? That's all it is. That's all they're going to teach you to do. I just told you their whole program. I just saved you $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. Go on. It's the same thing people do on Craigslist. It's the same thing people do on the MLS. It's the same thing people do on Facebook. At some point, you got to have a quality conversation. Stop being easy with these ads and clicking in there and then getting into their funnels and then sitting there and they tell you, oh, this is the secret list of things that nobody has. Ugly houses, big checks. That's what all that look at what is the commonality, the common thread with everything.
Yep.
It is finding a property that has potential equity because it's run down, because it's vacant, because there's financial distress, because there's emotional distress. You can do that type of thing. You can put a lot of effort into making offers on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist.
For sure.
The thing that you will find is 95% of those people are wholesalers. 95% of those listings are wholesalers putting it on there.
Yep.
So you're going to make a great connection with a lot of wholesalers, but there's not a lot of people that are putting
Ugly
properties
houses,
on the market. Yeah.
Big checks.
Ugly houses, big checks.
That's
Jamal.
it. You gotta get that like tatted across the chest.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be my next. It's gonna be my everybody in the company's getting one.
Let's
all right,
go.
in Mexico. Andre, is it possible to pitch terms to an agent, or is it more difficult when an agent is involved? Way easier.
Way easier.
In my experience. Go ahead, Albert. Hit him.
No, I was gonna say that's way easier. It's great to pitch terms to the agents because then they'll take it to the client for you, and it comes down to what we've all been talking about this entire time. It all comes down to your price, terms, and you. How good are you to negotiate that to that agent for them to go and sell you to their client and get the deal done? Utilize that. It's a great tool.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually just talked about this yesterday in the coaching call with my diamond tier students, and they were asking me about the pitching terms.
Oh, diamond tier.
Yeah, my
many tiers do you
diamond
have?
my diamond tier. No,
I like that.
That's my top tier students.
That's awesome.
They get coaching. We were talking about it yesterday, and we actually had 3 of them that are collaborating now on deals across 3 different states with agents. The only thing that ever comes into like a struggle is sometimes having to be the buyer paying the commission for the agent. So we just talked about a few things to kind of maneuver through that strategy. But a lot of times, even what we were talking about before the show was that as the market transitions, agents are going to have to be a little bit more open and willing to get the deals done.
Yeah.
So this kind of stuff, absolutely, especially if it's going to be overpriced houses, terms might be the way to go.
Yep.
I think there's a common misconception in this world, in the real estate world in general, that you can't do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have learned at a very young age is everything in this world is negotiable.
Yep.
And I learned that from my mom when she would negotiate the retail sticker prices on stuff like on the shelf, and she would get the discount.
What?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. This is how I grew up. If there's something that's a good deal or something, she will know how to get the price that she wants.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned everything in this world is negotiable. There's nothing
sure.
that's not on the table unless you ask.
Literally.
I love it. Just closed on a 6-unit this past Friday.
go.
Ring that bell. David, hitting it up.
Look at that background.
Look at that background. I love it. You see that, Kenny? That's a nice background. Kenny likes that. He's my social media director. He likes that one, Dave. Great job on that.
go.
Ring that bell.
Let's go.
Now, when you say closed, is this in your portfolio? Is this a flip? Is this a wholesale? Give us some more. Give us
all the deets.
Give us a little bit more. Let's pull back that. What did Brent eat for breakfast
People
today?
want to know.
I had
14 eggs.
I had 14 raw eggs. That's right. Yeah. No. I had the tears of my children. No. I had a protein bar. Yeah, I had a protein bar. I had great sleep. I'll tell you what. I had a good time on 4th of July, and I've just been like, you know what? I'm going to go to bed earlier. I'm going to get up earlier. I got up earlier. I think that's...
You're not a morning person. Yeah.
6:30.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
6:30.
Whoa.
That's really
Yeah,
Wow.
hour earlier. So I think the motor's been going. It's good. Yeah.
It's all that youth around you.
But I had a protein bar, to answer your question.
From Costco.
I don't know if it's Costco. Maybe. Swayam. Hey, Brent, I am doing a wholesaler outreach for the past 60 days, but not getting any kind of deals done. Had contracts in the past, but have canceled because of no buyers started to get discouraged. What do I do? I am doing wholesaler outreach for the past 60 days. Okay, so I don't know if you're like reaching out to wholesalers to sell your deals. One, I would not try to do the whole JV thing unless you have at least 100 solid buyers, and it's more like 1,000 solid buyers now, because a lot of the buyers that you had 60 days ago are on pause.
Yep.
Even 30 days are on pause. So if you're going to do the strategy like the Astro flipping, where you're going and you're helping people dispo their deals, it's a brilliant strategy, but you need to constantly and consistently be building your cash buyer database.
That's it.
All the time. And you have to make sure that they're actual deals. Because what happens is once the cash buyers squeeze down on the prices that they want to buy, and they, instead of wanting to they build in 10%, they built in 15% for profits, that eats up a lot of that dispo strategy. So you have to get those deals even further lower, because there's not as much meat on the bone. If there's 15,000 of meat on the bone, now there's 8,000.
If that.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe 5,000. So you have to. It's been hit by like 40%.
Because when
for
you're,
real.
it's even so, like with this wholesale outreach, when you're going and you're talking to the person that has it direct, they're trying to make a fee too. So then you're playing the game of talking to that person, saying, well, is there any wiggle room on this? And then you're going to the dispo guy, and then they're trying to negotiate, and you're playing middleman. There's a lot of moving pieces as to where the deal could go south quick.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Nails with milk. That's right, Jerry. Brent had nails with milk, 2%. Yeah. I don't drink any of that skim milk. Give me the pure. Whole milk.
Whole milk.
How about that?
Whole milk.
Whole milk.
Oh, jeez.
David, in your portfolio, not looking to flip or wholesale this
Let's
one.
go.
Congratulations.
Let's
Congratulations. What is it? Is sixplex?
Six, yeah.
Sixplex.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible,
Unreal.
David. Congratulations. Keep building it up, brother. That's
Let's go.
great. Jesse, if you need to show proof of funds, do you send just the agreed price or more to show you have reserves? It just depends. If you want to send an actual account, you'd want to show probably the full price, because they think that you're a cash buyer and they think that you have the cash in your account, right? If not, you can show, hey, here's my approval letter from the hard money lender that's going to lend on it. It's basically cash, and then here's the down payment that I have.
Right.
So you could do both. But I most of the time they're looking for it to be in your account. Some people are sticklers about that, but some people understand that.
Yeah.
You know,
And if you're doing
if
the
you can get
hard
the cash, you can get the cash.
the hard money proof of funds letter, just make sure there is, to answer this question too in a further way, there is a psychological thing that if you have a proof of funds that says so and so is qualified up to $1 million and you're writing offers on a $100,000 house and it's listed at 150, you're not going to have much wiggle room. So just be mindful that in that case, maybe you want to put that you're qualified up to 175 to 200. And this is all done through the hard money lender, where they'll give you a template or they'll give you deal by deal base. Here's a proof of funds for that deal specific. So just be mindful, obviously, not to go too crazy on the proof of funds. I've had some people come to me and they're like, look at my proof of funds. It says 15 million. I'm like, you're not going to negotiate. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and sometimes when you show that you have a proof of funds for millions of dollars, people are like, well, then you could afford to pay more for this.
Absolutely. All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Is it too late to get deals from cold calling?
Bro.
That's what we do every day. So it is if you believe that, yes. If you believe that you could get deals from having quality conversations with distressed property owners on a daily basis, then you will. I don't, unless phones aren't a thing anymore.
Right.
And we're just like, I don't know, connecting through some chip in our brain. But then we'll hack that.
Yeah.
We'll just call people's brains.
We'll be cold chipping.
Cold chipping. Yeah. Yeah, no, you got this.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Bernard.
That is us.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah, well, I mean, he's got the shirt. He's got a box.
Albert made the crown.
Got a boxing match after this. That's
you like it?
I do.
Thank you.
That's might be your best joke. Bernard.
Let's go.
Yeah, he does, Bernard. So I don't. I stay off market. I go direct to the seller. But Ryan's been doing it for years, and that's how he's built up his net worth over $1 million is from doing on-market deals. So this is the guy.
Hello.
So make sure that you follow him, Bernard. Make sure that hopefully there's some follow-up questions to this so that you can catch him right now. But if not, then definitely check out his Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, that's us.
Awesome.
From Isaiah, Ryan, would it be more efficient to contact the brokerages / lead brokers as opposed to the agents? It seems like brokers are most likely to get a hold of off-market distressed properties. That is a phenomenal question. We actually had this one pop up yesterday as well. One tip that I would recommend is exactly what you just said. So I accidentally did this when I was cold calling with the batch dialer challenge like a few weeks ago, but I got a hold of a receptionist at the front desk. And instead of just being like, oh, shoot, sorry, and I hung up, I just played into it. And I was like, okay, well, I want the hardest working agent you've got. You obviously see who comes into the office every day. You see the direct deposits going out. You see the checks being handed to the agents. Who is your best agent that I should talk to? Now, be mindful, talking to a brokerage, you don't want to call the broker specific. You want to do what I just said there and call the receptionist, the front desk person. You want to get a hold of team leads. Team leads are people that are in charge of a whole team of agents. So if you call a brokerage and maybe ask for, hey, who's the best team that I should work with that has investors? Okay, or who's the most familiar with working with investors? You call them, that opens up the floodgate. Because now all of a sudden when you call an agent, because they're one of the hardest working recommended realtors by that office, they're going to pick up the phone. Mm-hmm. They're going to call you back. They're going to send you properties. They're going to bring you opportunities, and then they're going to close deals with you.
Boom. Repurpose you. I'm pushing for MLS deals, and so far have assigned 1 and had 5 under contract. Now I don't have one closed yet, but it's the momentum it's the most momentum I've ever had in such a short period of time. Congratulations. Ring that bell for this.
Let's go.
Ring this bell. Awesome.
Boom. Another cool background too.
Steven, when you get a cash buyer on market, how do you transition with agent or title to close deal?
Yeah, so once you get under contract, you're not sending the assignment contract to the listing agent. You're sending it to the title company or the closing attorney, and then they are basically giving contracts that are fully executed. And as the middleman, their job is to read the contract and perform based on what the contract says. So if they have an original purchase contract, the A to B, between you and the seller or you and the agent, then they're going to go off of what that says. That's between you and the seller or you and the agent. The next part is the assignment contract or a second purchase contract, which then they follow that in line of what order it was they got the contracts. So if they have a purchase contract and an assignment, they're going to read the purchase agreement, make sure that's all honored. Then they're going to get the assignment, make sure that's good between you and the end buyer. Now, just remember, this is the thing I was talking about a few shows ago, was that if you don't deposit earnest money, but then your end buyer does, that end buyer's receipt of the earnest money gets sent to the agent. Mm-hmm. So just make sure you're setting the expectation and having the conversation with the agent or the seller, telling them what your process is. So that way there is no uncomfortable conversation of, wait a second, your LLC is 123 LLC. What is this 345 LLC? So just make sure you're setting expectations and doing it right. But then once you send the paperwork, title will handle the rest.
DeAndre, on the topic of VAs, are there VAs and or websites with VAs who are already familiar with cold calling, wholesaling, talking to sellers? Absolutely. I've got 2 referrals for you. It depends on what your budget is. And listen, I would only hire callers that are managed and trained, because if you have to, and now this doesn't mean that you're hands off. You can't just plug in, give them the money, and then just never talk to your people. They need to be part of your team. That's how you get them to actually have some soul to their calls. You know what I mean? As opposed to they're thinking that they're going to get fired in like a week or whatever else. You know what I mean? So make sure that you're every single day for the first 6 weeks, you're going to want to have a Zoom call or a Skype or whatever with them. Just get them excited, ask them how their calls went the day before, let them know which leads came in that were really good, which ones are not what you're looking for, that type of thing, right? And it depends on your budget. $10 should be the minimum that you pay. I'm telling you right now, $10 should be the minimum. You can get that at callingreps.com. callingreps.com. That's kind of just getting started. If you have a smaller budget, that you could do a 20-hour minimum, which would be $200 a week, so it's $800 for the month, which I think is very reasonable. Make sure that you're budgeting for a dialer. You're gonna have to bring your own dialer, and make sure you're budgeting for the lists and the phone numbers. And then the second one, the Rolls Royce, the one that I've used for years and years and years, is callmotivatedsellers.com. Callmotivatedsellers.com. They're much more expensive, over double that cost, but it is they are the best of the best. I mean, they are just absolutely incredible. I mean, the average that people keep them for is like a year. It's bananas. So they're very, very good. They're Americans living abroad and or in the continental U.S., but most of them are living abroad, which I really like, because if you're an American living abroad and you have to get a job that is calling people all day long, there's not a lot of options for you, right? If you're living in the United States, you're always looking over your shoulder, because there's probably a better opportunity where you don't have to get on the phone all day long. But if you're living somewhere else and you're not independently wealthy, you need to still bring money in to live in these beautiful, places like Costa Rica and Central America and South America and all these places. They stick with the job, and they listen, and they show up. So there you
go. From Joe, how long does the probate process take? And also, can you wholesale before or during the probate process? That's a great question. I don't know if it's a little bit different direct to seller as opposed to MLS, but what's your process with probate?
Yeah, I mean, typically it's between 90 days and 6 months. It just depends on the price point. I think if it's under a certain price point, it can go a lot faster, but if it's above it, it's slower. It depends on how involved the family is in the probate process, and if they have an attorney, and if that attorney's good at their job, it usually goes faster. So I would just literally Google average time for probate in your state, because it goes through the courts, and who knows, right? So check that out, Joe. And then here's the issue that you run into with probate. If you offer too soon and you get it under contract too soon, then they could change their mind or get a bazillion other calls, get a bazillion other offers, and try to leverage your offer with that offer, and or want to cancel during the process, or they're not going to make a decision until it's closer to the time. So if you give them an offer too fast, you can get it leveraged, or there's a high likelihood that they want to cancel it. But on the flip side, if you don't lock it up soon, you don't lock it up right away, and educate that seller on, listen, we are now in contract. Nobody else can be in contract. You would be breaching the contract. I don't want to bring the attorneys involved in this thing. I want to make this as smooth for you as possible. Anybody that calls you, you tell them to reach out to me and that we're under contract. Okay, don't listen to all the honey that they're going to pour into your ears and all the promises that they're gonna make you. Like, just refer them over to me and I'll take care of it because we are now legally binded, right? If they can understand that part and they're really cool and they really trust you and you got a good relationship with them, cool. Lock it up as soon as possible. If you feel like they're a little bit squirrely, you're not really building a relationship with them, you go on the appointment, they're kind of putting their head down, they're kind of looking around, they're not really answering your questions in depth, they're just, yeah, sure. Don't give them an offer yet. Wait until the end. Wait until you're getting closer to that process and then lock that deal up.
Did you say pour honey in the ears?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Silky smooth words, closing sequences, you know what I mean? All the stuff that,
I get it.
people think that they can convince people to do something in real estate, which is just silly. Now there's ways to be good at sales. There's good ways at communicating, but most sales in our business is about pre-qualifying, understanding what the condition, timeline, motivation, and price is, and then doing follow-up.
For sure.
That's 95% of it. Kiva, I'm having the hardest time. I'm being loud and documenting the course and reaching out. Awesome. What do you mean you're having the hardest time?
Maybe she's having a hard time doing that.
Kiva? Oh, you're having a hardest time being loud. Okay, well, turn your phone around. You're awesome.
Yeah.
You're incredible. This is a TTP family right here. So turn around. Be brave. We support you.
Can I throw a tip out?
Yeah.
So a lot of videos. You want me to come up?
Yeah, come on.
All right.
Kenny's going to give you some tip here, Kiva.
All right.
All right, right here.
Social media director.
There you go. Yep.
Where am I at?
Yep,
Okay.
right here.
All right, cool. If you look at TikTok or Instagram Reels, a lot of the most popular videos have nobody saying anything. It's just them doing something, whether it's typing on a computer, and then using maybe an audio that's trending, and then adding text on the screen about what you're doing. So that's, today I made 12 cold calls, and you just write this on the screen
yeah.
so that people spend more time reading what you're
I
doing.
love it. You don't
versus
even have to talk.
You don't have to talk. Just throw up a camera, like your iPhone.
This is for people that are nervous
Yeah.
talking on camera.
Yeah, there you go. Just set up your phone and then just do the thing.
I love it. Thank you, Kenny.
Yep.
Boom. There you go. Ja'Cory. Hey, Brent. Any pro tips when calling pre-probate? Yeah, it's a timing thing, right? It's just one, you have to understand that this is at a very emotional time. So your tone has to be very comforting, but also very confident.
Yep.
Right, very certain. You know what I mean. You have to be. You have to. They have to feel like you are. You could give them a hug and everything's going to be all right.
Right.
You know what I mean. So that's the tone of voice. And remember, your tone is your body language on the phone. So make sure that your tone is comforting and warm and inviting and supportive. But also you can help them with this process. You do this. This is what you. You've helped out a lot of people doing this, and if you haven't, find somebody that has, and then leverage their experience. But that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, just talk to them and just match their tone. And most of the time, people aren't pumped. You know what I mean? They're not like, "Yeah, Grandpa's dead. This is awesome," right?
Right.
They're like, sad. So just have empathy there.
Yeah, I messed around a lot in probate before going over to MLS, and what I always found is that it was the only struggle I ever came across was, do they have an estate or a will already in place?
Yep.
Because if they do, then it makes the probate process a lot easier.
Yep.
But then also too, it was even the fact if there was 2 heirs, that what I always found to be the case, maybe 1 out of 10 times it wasn't. Out of the 2 heirs remaining, 1, like you said, super sad. You got to match their tone. You need to provide empathy and just support. The other 1 hated that family member. And at that point, that's where you got to decide, are you working with the person that's empathetic or the person that's like, get it off?
Yep.
I don't care.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and that's just pre-qualify.
for sure.
And the way that they respond is going to give you the insight there. Old school, tried and tested. Love it. Thank you, guys. With pre-foreclosures, when you do a loan mod with the seller, what if they don't have income? Will the bank still consider the loan mod? Typically not. I mean,
Yeah,
it just
no.
depends. But remember, it's a debt. So if you just imagine you're the bank, right? Old school. You're the bank. You lend somebody money, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll pay you back," and just put it, extend, like, give me some time to be able to pay you back. They'll give you a little bit. You might give them a little bit, but then at some point something's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, "No, I'm gonna just take the asset
Right.
instead of you paying me because you have no income. So I test it out. They might give them a little bit of time, maybe 60, 90 days to get back on their feet. But at some point they'll foreclose.
For sure.
Yep.
From Primal Eskimo. Favorite lead/list that you love, like code violation, probates, pre-foreclosure, etc. I'm not the one that's going to give the best advice because I haven't done this in a while, but the list that I had the most success with when I was doing it was water shutoff list, pre-foreclosure that was 2 to 3 weeks out from the auction date, and then tired landlord. Those are my 3.
Yeah, driving for dollars. Ugly houses. I mean, it's just people don't want to do it, and people shit on it because it takes a lot of time and energy to go out and do it. But 80% of people get their first deals from driving for dollars.
For sure.
So look at the stats. I mean, this is coming from a lot of interviews on a lot of podcasts, and 80%. Not only that, but just talking to people on stage and talking to people all over the place. How'd you get your first deal? Oh, driving for dollars.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's real time.
So I mean, that's all of those typically fall into driving for dollars. But if you don't want to spend the time to do it, and you don't want to do it virtually through Deal Machine, which I highly suggest that you do, because it's super, super easy, then I would pull tired out-of-state owners, people that have owned tired, non-owner occupied out-of-state owners. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty beat up list, but lists are just about timing anyway. So if you catch people at the right time, it's just that there's more competition typically if they start calling other people back, but a lot of them just don't. If you catch them at the right time and you really start building that relationship and they really like you, Primal, works out.
Faux show.
That's
cool.
it.
Perfect.
That's it. That's the last. There's no more questions. There's no more celebrations. There's no more squatting up. Oh, I guess you guys are still squatting up. Awesome. Well, listen, guys, we love you. Ryan is gone next week. Where are you at?
I'm going to Boston to see the Yankees play the Red Sox. Then I'm going to Chicago to see a Cubs game.
Awesome.
Going out with some buddies and having a nice little guys trip.
Fantastic. Sounds awesome. Oh,
good.
we got one more. How long did it take the both of you guys to close your first wholesale deals when you guys first got started?
I had pretty quick success, but I was a traditional real estate agent before becoming an investor. So the whole understanding of the process, I just needed to be able to understand and visualize it. So when it was presented to me with earnest money, inspection period, escrow with the assignment, all that kind of stuff, I was like, okay, I got it. Light bulb went off. So it took me about 1.5 to 2 months to get my first deal from really like doubling down and going.
Yes. 6 months. The first 3 deals that I did, I was an agent, and I brought it to an investor who wholesaled it 3 deals for $92,000. I didn't know what it was. I was out door knocking, literally every single day, door knocking with a blue golf shirt that was kind of breathable because it was really hot here. Arizona was really hot. And on the back it said neighborhood ambassador, and me and my business partner Dustin would walk around the streets, and we convinced 4 other people to go with us, and it was awesome. And it wasn't awesome, but now in my mind it was awesome. But we would just go and we'd knock on every single house, and eventually found opportunities. And it was just it was a lot slower. And then once the first deal that I got, and this was probably 2 months into door knocking, the first real beat up property, the person didn't want to sell their house, but they were the caretaker for a vacant house down the street.
Nice.
And they gave me the name, address, and phone number, and that is all you need. If you have the name, address, and phone number, it goes bananas. And then I started doing that, and then I joined Wholesaling Inc. in 2016, and then I started getting real loud in the Wholesaling Inc. Facebook page, and everybody goes, well, how are you getting all these deals? These are incredible deals. And I said, well, I'm calling them. And they go, what? And they go, yeah, I'm TTP. I'm talking to people. And they go, oh. And then Tom Kroll, the owner of Wholesaling Inc., goes, hey, you need to talk on stage in April of 2017 about cold calling. Before that, there was no cold calling in real estate investing. Commercial real estate always has been. Every other industry always has been. Realtor always has been. Real estate investing, it was direct mail, it was door knocking, it was bird dogs, it was pay per click, it was whatever, referrals. It was all these things. It was not cold calling, right? And so I got loud on stage and it just went like a virus. It went everywhere. And now it's the biggest thing ever. And it's very exciting to see that go and go crazy. But it started with me sweating my face off. I was very tan. I got very tan out there. I was like, not now. Now I'm just like that. What a 2% milk color right at this point. But I was very tan at the time. But I was door knocking for that time, and I got a name, address, and phone number, and here we are.
There you
TTP, baby. So
6
yeah,
months.
if you're just in this thing, think about the amazing things that you're going to do, and you're going to look back fondly on your hustle season. You really are going to look back fondly on your hustle season because it's a season. It's not a lifestyle. You'll burn out, or you'll make terrible decisions, and either get into a lawsuit or divorce or whatever else that totally takes you off the path. And so just understand it's a hustle season, not a lifestyle. And especially, just kind of circling back to that 20 to 30 year range, right? This is your time. This is your time to put in a lot of efforts and stay focused. Invest in yourself. Focus on one thing. Protect your health. Build your personal board of directors, your mentor, your protector, your connector, your sponsor, your friend, and watch consumer debt. Don't be somebody else's ROI, and build up your savings.
That's it.
Good.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Let's go one time through the Millionaire Before 30 blueprint while we have some time here.
Let's go.
Number 1, do a deal. Make
it.
money. Provide value to the marketplace, to the community, so that you actually bring income in. It all starts with that.
Absolutely. Go full-time in the business. The more you're able to do this, the more opportunities that are presented to yourself, and obviously leads to more income.
Kill the debt. Stop being on somebody's balance sheet as an asset, right? All that money that you spend that you do not have is on somebody's asset side of their balance sheet. Stop it.
Yep.
Build yours.
Absolutely. Invest in assets. Create cash flow. Find ways to bring in more money so your money creates baby money. Then from there, we obviously get to the 5th and final step, which is what we're all trying to create.
Financial freedom.
That's it.
Control the time you have left on this planet. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Next week, it'll be Albert up here.
I'll be
Yet again.
drunk at a
With
baseball
my
game.
step stool.
There we go.
I said with my step stool.
With your step stool. Come on. There we go. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again.